Hello, hi everybody. Thank you very much for joining me for another making of video. As you may have already realized, we are once again in the outdoors, this time in a very beautiful place from which we have already had another postcard before. I realized from the previous postcard that keeping the camera on is not only distracting for you, but also distracting for me. It is, as you may imagine, it is very easy to keep your eyes concentrated on the laptop or on the equipment camera when you are in a room, as in the most of the postcards of the previous postcards, it was pretty easy since you are all alone and you are in an noise isolated room. It is much easier, but when you're in the outdoors and you see a bird flying, last time some insects were in fact biting me, so it was more difficult. The sun was setting, so I wanted to take a look at the horizon to see how it was setting or coming down. So it is pretty much the same situation now, that I may be very distracted very often, and since it makes no purpose to keep me on the view of this video, what I am going to do is to turn the camera on. But before we get there, because I know that you're not here only to realize where am I, but you are more interested in the content of today's video. Today's video, we are taking one of the most famous Mexican songs as well. This is a very special song, and I would like to keep it somehow into two separate parts. The first one, I think I can speak very positive on the experience of learning the song, and on the second, we go into detail on the lyrics and the socio-economical situation around the song, which makes it take a turn, an unexpected turn, and can bring the conversation to difficult topics. But let's not jump into the second part, into the conclusions, and let's go to have or to share with you today's song. Today's song is a song that I have heard live. I recall the first time I heard it live, it was at the Palacio del Arzobispado, of which there is a series of videos. Of course, not all of them, but the only ones that I could record a good number of years ago. As you may realize on the screen, this video was, or well, it's not on the screen, but it is year 2007, so that means 14 years already that this was recorded. The singer is soprano Rosa Maria Diez at the very same Palacio del Arzobispado, at such an amazing place. The song is called La Borrachita. So Borrachita is a very well-known song, and I would like to share with you the memory that I have of that concert. By the time she sang this song, it was already over 40 minutes she had already been singing, and I remember that I heard that the next song was announced, and that people who were sitting attending the concert were very enthusiastic about this song. At that time, I really wasn't familiar with the song. So when I realized of how enthusiastic they were about the song, I paid lots of attention not only to the singer but also to the song. And for that purpose, let me start sharing with you in fact, this is going to be the actual sound of the song. This is what it was exactly happening. So, and you can watch both the video and, of course, the audio in there of this whole concert by soprano Rosa Maria Diaz. It is a very lovely song. I would like you to pay attention to the tone of somehow sadness. the recording does not capture that moment, but by this time, people in the audience, people who had attended, were also very low with their voices, singing with her. This is a screenshot of the concert. So if you look at this, you can see people, and I would like to talk a little more about it, but I also would like to keep a couple of minutes in silence because I am interrupting the song. And of course, the thing about recording in public places is that you are always subject to interruptions, and that is what just happened. So some of you may have already realized that we were going through something and the music, and suddenly there is something chopped in the recording. My apologies for that, but that is of course so out of control. That is something we cannot do anything about if we want to keep recording on the outdoors. So if we want no interruptions, then we need to go back to the same room where these making of videos are usually recorded. So with that in mind, let's go back to the important piece that is the music. And I was about to share with you that unfortunately in the recording, in the sound, you cannot hear it. But if you look at this group of people, they were in fact singing it softly along with Rosa Maria. So it was very touching to see how people identified with the song. I also wanted to mention that in particular, I keep the memory of an old woman. She was, I don't know how many years she was, but I think she was very old by then. And I recall her with her arms stretched like towards the piano and the singer, and she was singing along with them. I also recall that she was almost crying. My thoughts are that this song brought her back memories. Not sure what this could be about. Her youth, her marriage, her children. I don't know. But I really remember that old woman with her arms stretched to the stage and singing along with the singer and the music in the piano. That's what I recall the most, and I also would like to share with you at this time. If you take a look at the picture, this screenshot that I took from the video, you may realize that most of people here is what we can call elders. They are not young people, and that is because the art of opera or these concerts in Mexico at least call for the most part seniors. There are not many young people attending them. In fact, I think I was of the very few young people who attended those concerts. And as being such, I recall that most of this music, the Mexican music, meant a lot to them. Unfortunately, but that time, not to me, since I really didn't know many of those pieces. But I think I was very fortunate of attending them and seeing how they meant a lot to people. And as time passed by, those songs would mean something to me later. And I also think that now it is time to talk about the very important composer for this week. This week, the song that we have for today, as I have repeated a good number of times, it's called La Borrachita. And for La Borrachita, we need to talk about Tata Nacho. That's the name of the composer of that, the way he was called. Tata Nacho was the composer of this song. It is the way people like to call him. There is a whole anecdote. In fact, we have already brought another song by Tata Nacho in the past in this series. And I also wanted to share with you a picture of him. Of course, by this time, he's already a senior also. He composed this song when he was still very young. There is something about the style of Tatanacho, besides being understanding very much how Mexico felt about a good number of things. Before anything else happens, if you happen to have heard a bell in the background, it is true. There is the church. I am 2 blocks from the church. There is also some reggaeton sounding in the background as well. I believe there are some young people, don't know how close to this place, but they are somewhere around. So my apologies for that again. I insist, recording on the outdoors has some disadvantages. Going back to Mr. Mario Talavera, he composed a good number of songs, but contrary to the songs of other composers that could be more considered like fine for concert music, that leader type of music, sorry, not Mario Talavera, Tatanacho was so very close to this popular in his veins. He really understood how that popular music from Mexico was. And this is what we are about to see in this very beautiful song that is La Borrachita. For that purpose, let me share with you now. Let me block this one, yes. So this is La Borrachita. And what does borrachita mean in English? Borrachita actually means drunk. So this is the diminutive form of a drunk woman. So we are talking about a drunk woman in diminutive, but why or in what circumstance would we talk about a diminutive form of a drunk woman? And this is, as I told you in the beginning, this is where we are going to talk about something that is not very nice to talk about. La Borrachita happens to be a very beautiful song that talks about what is called in Spanish el derecho de pernada. I understand that in English it is called le droit du Seigneur, or the rights of the Lord. And what I found is that in French it is rather called le droit de cuisage, if I remember well. But this is the situation also somehow denounced by Mozart, or at least he expressed his misconformity on the subject in the marriage of Figaro. Same situation. We are also talking about el derecho de pernada. This right that lords, that people with lots of money had over the wives or the couples of people who worked in their farms or in their shops, in their companies, in their business. Uh, the title La Borrachita makes reference, by the way, we are looking at, we can see on the screen the name of Mr. Ignacio Fernandez Esperón, best known as Tatanacho, which is the way we will keep on referring to him. So Tatanacho shared with us La Borrachita. Why, going back to why is he addressing to, or why is he mentioning a young drunk woman? The situation is as follows. The environment that Tatanacho paints us in this song, not only in the words and the music, but in the situation itself, is from the early 1900s, where there were many hacendados, people who had their haciendas, several miles of land where he had many people working for him, and where he was the ultimate authority and owner of everything. So part of the thing he owns was the women there. So he could have access, the hacendado could have access to whatever woman he wanted to have sex with. And that's the situation that is painted here. La Borrachita, and they say, for what I read, is when they talk about La Borrachita, they talk about a woman who needed or had to drink, needed to get drunk because she had already been called by the hacendado, por el señor, which is the way we call it also in Spanish. When you talk about el señor, you talk about the authority or the owner of the industry, the shop or the land. So it is said that as the women knew that they were forced to have sex with the hacendado or with the señor, they chose to get drunk in order to not be in their senses when that situation happens. So she starts by telling us, the song starts by telling us, Borrachita me voy para olvidarle. Who is it that she wants to forget? Well, in the first paragraph, what she's sharing us is that she wants to get drunk because she's about to leave. She's about to leave, but she needs to forget someone. As I was telling you, who does she need to forget? She needs to forget someone that he loves, that she loves very much. Here, Tatanacho uses a very popular expression. Instead of saying le quiero, which would be the correct Spanish form, he says, Tatanacho says le quiero, which is somehow the way popular or poor people working in the 1900s would speak. They would speak some variations of Spanish, and one of them is quiero. So Tatanacho says, Borrachita me voy para olvidarle, le quiero mucho. Mucho is another case. Instead of mucho, he uses the variation of and says mucho. Le quiero mucho, él también me quiere. So I am getting drunk. I'll be leaving this drunk to forget him because I love him. I love him very much. And I also know that he loves me too. Borrachita me voy. Then again, I am drunk and I am leaving this place drunk. Hasta la capital. La capital is the way in Mexico you used to refer where you are when you are in another state, a little town, and when you refer that you need to go to the city, you say la capital. So whenever you hear someone says me fui a la capital means he traveled to Mexico City. So far the situation Tatanacho is painting us is a woman gets drunk and she's getting drunk because she needs to forget this man that she loves so very much and that in return loves her too. So Borrachita, she is leaving because she needs to go to the capital city, to Mexico City. And there is expression that in fact tells us that this is what she's going to do because when she says, pa servir al patrón que me mandó a llamar anteayer, pa servir al patrón means exactly that she has been called by the Lord, by the senior, by the patron, because he wants to have sexual intercourse with her. And this message was sent to her the day before yesterday. So she needs to make present and attend that place in order to fulfill the Lord's demand. The song, as you heard, is very nice. It goes like Borrachita me voy para olvidarle, le quiero mucho él, también me quiere. Borrachita me voy hasta la capital pa servir al patrón que me mandó llamar anteayer. Here goes a repetition of this same part. And right after sharing with us that she needs to leave because The patron wants to have this sexual intercourse with her. She continues sharing with us. Yo le quise traer, dijo que no, que si había de llorar, ¿pa' qué volver? She goes back to what she shared with us in the beginning. She needs to leave his beloved one because she says, and I wanted him to come with me. Yo le quise traer, but he said no. If it was for crying, what was the purpose of coming back? Why coming back to Mexico City if all we will find is suffering, if we will keep crying? Of course, one can imagine that this has to be a very difficult situation, not only for her but also for him because he loves her. And imagine for a man who loves a woman to hear, to know that she is obligated to have this sexual intercourse with the patron and that he can do nothing. It is an absolute awful situation. The song goes back to Borrachita me voy hasta la capital, so this drunk I'm leaving to Mexico City para servir al patrón que me mandó a llamar anteayer. To provide this service that the patron is requiring from me when I got the message the day before yesterday. Um, the melody goes like Yo le quise traer, dijo que no, que si había de llorar, ¿pa' qué volver? Borrachita me voy hasta la capital pa' servir al patrón que me mandó llamar anteayer. I have already shared with you there are a couple of words that Tata Nacho is using popular forms of Spanish to portray the situation of the woman that is being required by the patron. But it not only has to do with the words, but it also has to do with the style and the way of speaking. The expression "pa servir al patrón que me mando a llamar anteayer." It also has the rhythm and the cadence that this type of speaking would be. I was sharing with you a little earlier that Mr. Tatanacho, Maestro Tatanacho, was as opposed to other composers, he was, let's say, in love with the popular music. And so he created this Borrachita, La Borrachita song, from my perspective to denounce, to make it public that in Mexico these things kept happening and that this was a situation that really hurt so much to the people involved, except for the hacendado, except for the patron, except for the señor, who only took advantage of the situation, of the money and the possessions he had. This is what we have for this very beautiful song. I really enjoyed working on this. I have to also confess that it was very shocking to me to understand that this is what the song is about. Let's not forget that music is, of course, to make us feel good, to make us live some emotions, but also to do something, to do things like this, to express your misconformity somehow with the tools that a composer has with that situation that shouldn't be. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you some other time soon. Bye bye.